Hi, welcome back to the next installment of this Photoshop walkthrough. Now, in this lesson, I've taken you through the interface in the last one, and in this one, we're going to go through three things. We're going to look at creating new projects, we're going to look at the transform tool and just how to use it quite simply, and we're also going to look at layers and how they work. Okay, so that's three things we're going to quickly cover in this 2 or 3 minute tutorial, which will probably turn into about a 4 or 5 minute tutorial, know me. Now, when you open up Photoshop, depending on what version you have, you get something different with each version, really. Now, I'm using CC 2018, and this shows all my kind of like recent work, okay? So I can just quickly open a project, or it may pop up with a learn, where there's ways you can learn Photoshop, or it may just be completely blank, okay? Now, regardless of what it is, you don't need to worry. All you need to do is go to File, New, and you'll get a new document window. Now, again, depending on the version you're using, yours may look completely different to this. This is to show me all the recent kind of the recent dimensions I've been using. Now, with this version in 2018, you've got photo, all these tabs at the top, generic photo, layouts, print, and you can click to view more here. So A5, A3, A4, A6, art and illustration. This is like pixel grids, poster, postcard, stuff like that. You've got web, you've got mobile, and then you've got film and video as well, like HD TV stuff. Now, if you don't have this layout, what you will have is like drop-down bars where you can select print, and then there's presets below that, so you'll be able to see all this. Now, let's say I want to go for A3, so I click A3. But if I want it, obviously you can see this is in portrait mode. Now, if I want it landscape, all I need to do is click here. And there should also, in older versions, be a little thing you can click to turn it landscape as well. So background content, so you can change the background. By default, it's white. You can change it to black if you want, or you can select the background color to have whatever you want. But I'm just going to click cancel, and I'm going to stick to white, just how I like to work. Then you've got, so these are dimensions, 420 millimeters by 297 millimeters. You can change this, you can look at it, what it is in pixels. So in pixels, an A3 landscape is 4961 in width and 3508 in height. Then you've got resolution. This is pixels per inch, or if we go back to millimeters, yeah, pixels per inch. So this is basically when it comes to print. 72 is kind of the lowest I'd ever go. And if I'm looking to print something, I'll normally chuck it up to 300, but I don't tend to go higher than that. For specialist reasons, you might. But 72, 100, 200, 300. 300 is as high as I go, really. And then you've got color modes. You can go CMYK for print, RGB for on-screen stuff, and then you can go grayscale if you just want black and white. And there's others there as well. Now I'm just going to keep with that. So all I've done is come into print. I've selected the A3, put it to landscape, and I'm just going to click create. You can, in this one, you can give it a quick name as well. You can name your file. And I think you can in the other versions as well. So I'm going to put PS for Photoshop, and what's this? Walk through. There we go. And I'm going to click create. And what's done, opened up the new document. I've got all my tools, got all my kind of stuff along the top, like in the last lesson, and all these panels. But here I'm just going to switch and click on layers. Okay. So, showing you how to create a new project, pretty simple. Again, all you need to do is go to File and New, and yeah, you'll be able to do it. So, next thing I'm going to show you is layers. Now, this is my layers panel, and I've got this background layer, and I can't turn this one on and off. This little eye icon lets you turn layers on and off, but I can't because this is the bottom one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer. This post-it note down here, if you click that, I've got a new layer, okay? Now, if I get my brush, and I think I've got purple selected, and I just draw around like so. Oh, it's not coming up because my opacity's down. Yours won't be, don't worry, if you've just opened it. But yeah, if I draw like that, you can see layer 1 has got this on, so I can turn this on and off, and there's my background. Now, if I make a new layer, get a completely new color, let's just change it to a pink, and within this new layer, I draw on top, okay? Like that. I'm going to do it again one more time. Click new layer, get a new color, and draw just like that. Now let's say I think, obviously this isn't a masterpiece or anything, but let's say I think actually I want to get rid of the pink. If they were all on the same layer, I would have to go in there and kind of get rid of the pink, you know, just scratch it through with an eraser or a mask tool and just get rid of the pink. But I can simply turn that layer off, or turn any layer off I want. And that's the beauty of layers. You keep things separate so you can turn them on and off. Maybe I want to make this one, this pink one, I want to bring the opacity down, and I can do that by going up to the opacity right here and turning it down. Okay? Maybe I wanted to blur the purple one, and I'll show you the filters, how you blur stuff later on, but you can control each individually. Now, let's illustrate that. If I hadn't have created new layers, and I was just on this background layer, the one that gives you by default, and I went, yeah, I want to do all that, I want to change colour, let's go up here, I'm going to go like that, and then I'm going to change colour without creating new layers, and I'm going to go like that. All of a sudden, all of this is on one layer, and there you go, because I've got other layers I can now turn it off. They're all within the same layer, so I can't control each of them individually. If I wanted to turn the transparency or the opacity of the purple one down, I can't. It gets rid of the white and the three colours together because they're all on the same layer. Now let's undo that. When I've got them all separately, if I want to just get rid of the white, well, I can, and then on a transparent background. If I want to get rid of the purple, or if I want to manipulate the purple, but again, all I'm going to do in this instance is just turn the opacity of the layer down. You can see it fades away a bit on its own, and you're just controlling that layer. So that's the beauty of layers. You separate things out. You can turn them off with the eye. You can even move, let's say, let's turn the opacity of that one back up. Let's say, actually, I want this purple to be at the front. Well, okay, click and drag, pull it to the top, and now it's on top. It's like having sheets of acetate and drawing on them and kind of moving them all on top of each other. Let's say, right, actually, no, I want the pink on top, let's move it on top. Okay, you can also, if you double click the letter, the title, you can also rename them. So let's call this pink. Let's call this, let's come to the end, let's call this purple. And this one is sort of, yeah, yellow, just call it yellow. Great, awesome. Another thing you can do, if you shift select, so click the bottom one, then shift, holding shift, click the top one. You can put these in a folder, so I'll just click this folder down here, and let's rename it to pen ink. And when you have a lot of stuff going on, using this folder is very, very good. So we can turn them all off together by turning off the folder, or we can come in and turn them off individually like that. It's just a way of keeping it nice and tidy. Okay, so we've gone over layers and how useful they are, because they are very useful. Now the final thing, if you were to ever have, let's just turn off the yellow layer. If you were to ever have something in here and you want to scale it down, there's a mistake. Obviously, I teach this every day in work. There's a mistake I often see people make. They go for this selection tool up the top, and they're like, okay, so I click this layer because I want to scale this. Oh, I can move it, but where's the buttons to scale it down? Well, you may have just seen me quickly turn it off. By default, as I said in the previous video, when you select a tool, it's got options along the top. By default, this is turned off, this little tick box. It's show transform controls. If I click it on, make sure that layer is selected, then I've got the dots, and I can hold in shift, scale it down uniformly, or if I don't hold shift, I can scale it down non-uniformly. But if I hold shift, it'll go uniform. Now that's a mistake a lot of people make. They'll be there for hours thinking, oh, why can't I scale it? So again, click it, make sure you've got the layer selected, this top tool, and this is turned on, otherwise you won't be able to do it. Now the final thing about transformations is, let's say I've scaled it back up and I want to go and do something else. You've got to always make sure, this is kind of like a dummy at the moment, it's a preview it is. If you hit enter, you'll see two things. The quality does upgrade, and I can now do other things. If I didn't click enter and you tried to go into a menu, you probably wouldn't be able to, and you'd be like, oh, what's going on? Just make sure you hit enter after you scale things and you'll be fine. Or rotate things, because obviously if I get that back up, we can rotate as well and scale by these, you know. World's your oyster. And let's see, if I try to go into a menu, I can, but they're all grayed out, see? So if I hit enter, now go into the menu, they're not grayed out, so that's why. Cool. So that's all I wanted to cover in this one. We covered creating a new project, creating new layers, and we did use a brush tool actually a bit. and then using transformations. So I hope you enjoyed and picked up some things from that, and I'll see you in the next session where we look at the brush tool in depth. Cheers.